Welcome back, dear students. Your Lakshmi ma'am is back here again, and I hope you all are fine, studying well. And so today I have brought a new chapter for you, that is whole numbers. Okay, so as we all know, this is a very important chapter which will help you in solving various numbers basing on this chapter, as well as in future also you will be using this concepts, the various properties that you are going to learn. It will help you in solving problems in future also. So please go through this video carefully and get ready with your notebooks and write along with me, right? So the first thing, before going into the whole numbers, you know that there are many kinds of numbers. Now I'm not going to tell you about all the types of numbers. About integers already you have known, yes? Before starting with the whole numbers, I would like to tell you that we have numbers called natural numbers. Natural numbers are also called as what? Counting numbers. Obviously, naturally, if you are asked to count something, you begin with the number 1. Begin with the number 1. So natural numbers are the numbers, they are the counting numbers, and they always begin from 1. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. It continues till infinity. Yes or no? There is no end to it, right? Now what are these whole numbers basically? Whole numbers are the numbers that begin from 0. That means 0 is not included in the natural numbers. But this whole numbers begin from 0. Okay? That means the whole number starts like this: 0, 1, 2, 3 and continues. That means what we can say? What can we say? Whole numbers contains all the natural numbers, because the natural numbers start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and continues. And so whole numbers contain all the natural numbers, but it contains one extra number, that is extra digit, that is what? 0. 0 is not a whole number. 0 is not a natural number, but 0 is included in the set of whole numbers. Okay? So this idea should be clear. And about integers already you know, integers contain what? Natural numbers, whole number 0, as well as the negative numbers. So that is a big set containing the natural numbers. That means it contains the whole numbers as well as, so whole number itself contains what? 0 as well as the natural numbers. And integers have one extra set. What is that? Negative numbers that are less than 0. Okay. So today we are going to study some of the important properties of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay. So let's come to the properties. Properties of whole numbers. The first property that we are going to study today is the commutative property. Commutative property. Okay? I will explain this property basing on the 4 fundamental operations in mathematics, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication as well as division, right? So what is the meaning of this commutative property? Now just look at this. 5 plus 7 is equal to how much? 12. Now if I just write 7 in place of 5 and 5 in place of 7, what is the answer you are going to get? Again 12. Is there any difference between the answer if you are changing the order of the digit? What is the difference between the first and the second case? In the first case, we wrote 5 in the first position and 7 in the next. But in the second case, we interchanged the order of the digits. But that did not affect the sum of the digits. That means even if you, what does commutative property mean? Commutative property means that even if you change the order of the digit, the answer is not affected. In case of what? Addition. So this is called as commutative property of addition. And you're asked in your questions in exams as well as in your textbooks, you can see in your exercises, you get questions like, suppose you get questions like 10 plus dash is equal to, suppose 7 plus dash is equal to 70. Okay, so what are we going to do here? You see, 10 plus, obviously here, 10 plus what will give us 17? 7. And 7 plus what will give us 17? 10. Yes or no? So this, and you are asked to fill in the blank and also name the property used. Also name the property which is used. So you can easily fill in the blank. And what is the property used? You will write down commutative property of addition, because this is for addition, right? Now next, let's look at this. 10 minus 5, 5 minus 10. Now we are coming to subtraction, okay? So 10 minus 5 is obviously how much? 5, okay? 5 minus 10 is how much? Now you know integers, it's minus 5. So are these both same? No, these both are not same. These both are not same. That means commutative property is true for addition, but it is not true, or it doesn't hold good for subtraction. Okay? Now let us check for multiplication as well. Let us take one more example. Like suppose let us take 3 multiplied to 4 is how much? It's 12. Let us interchange it. 4 multiplied to 3 is again 12. That means commutative property holds true for multiplication as well, right? It holds true for addition, it holds true for multiplication, but it doesn't hold good for subtraction. Is the idea very clear? Let us check for division also. Suppose let me write 10 divided by 5 and 5 divided by 10. Okay? So 10 divided by 5, you know, before the division sign, whatever comes, that is the dividend. And after the division sign, whatever comes, that is the divisor. So 10 divided by 5 is obviously how much? 2. Okay? 10 divided by 5 means what? 10 by 5. That is equal to 2. But what does 5 by 10 mean? 5 is the dividend here, not 10. So it will be 1 by 2 or 0.5. And 2 and half. 2 is not same as half or 0.5. 2 is a whole number. Half is a fraction. That means the first thing that you understand today, the first thing that you have to understand today is what? Commutative property means changing the order of the digits, right? Commutative property holds good for addition as well as multiplication. That means even if you change the order of the digits, the answer is not affected. But it doesn't hold good for subtraction and division. So in this case, it is called as, in the case of addition, it will be called as commutative property of addition. And in case of multiplication, it will be called as commutative property of multiplication. That's right. Okay. Now let's come to the next topic. Next property, I think the idea is very clear. The next property is associative property. Okay. That is also a very important property. Many times you are able to do the questions, solve the questions very well, but when the property is asked to you, you are not able to speak up. So these are the various small concepts which need to be cleared right from the beginning. You cannot ignore all these things. Okay, these properties are very, very important. Clear? The second one is associative property. Let us also check this property. Now, what does this associative property means? It is just like, you can say, grouping property. It's a grouping property. Now, just look at this. For addition, let's check for first. First for addition, 2 plus 3 plus 4. Here also I am going to write 2 plus 3 plus 4. But what is the difference I am going to make here? Here I will put 2 and 3 in the bracket, and here I will put 3 and 4 in the bracket. Here comes the difference, right? Let us see now. See, in the Bodmer's rule, you have been taught that you need to solve the bracket first. Now you see the digits are same. I have taken the same numbers in both the cases. Here 2, 3, 4 and here also 2, 3, 4 only. But here I have associated or grouped 2 and 3 together, and the second case I have grouped 3 and 4 together. Okay. So first let us solve the bracket in the first case. 2 plus 3 will give me how much? 5. And then plus 4 will give me how much? 9. Isn't it? Let us come to the next part. 2 is outside the bracket. So first we will solve what is in the bracket. So we will write 2 as it is. 3 plus 4 will give me how much? 7. So in both the cases, what is the answer I have got? It's 9. Both are same. That means associative property holds good or holds true for addition. That means even if you group the numbers in a different way, associate them in a different way, still the answer is not affected, right? Now let us check whether it holds true for subtraction. Let us write one number like 5 minus 4 minus 1. And here I am going to write 5 minus 4 minus 1. See, in both the cases I have taken the same digits. 5, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1, right? But here I will solve the bracket first, the first case. So 5 minus 4 will give me how much? 1. 1 minus 1 will give me 0. Now 5 minus, in the bracket what I am having, 4 minus 1, it will give me 3, and ultimately what answer I am going to get here? 2. So is it holding true for subtraction? No, it doesn't hold true for subtraction. That means in case of subtraction, if you are grouping the numbers in a different way, the answer also you will get differently. But this doesn't happen in the case of addition. Okay, so associative property is what? Grouping property, right? It's a grouping property. Okay, now let us check for multiplication. Well, let us take very simple. It's like 3 multiplied to 4 multiplied to 5. Here also let me write 3 multiplied to 4 multiplied to 5. I will group these two first, and then in the second case I will group these two. Let us check. First, the bracket I am going to solve. 3 multiplied to 4 will give me how much? 12. And multiplied to 5 will give me how much? 60. Isn't it? Now here again I will solve the bracket first. So 3 is outside the bracket. Let me write on 3. 4 multiplied to 5 will give me how much? 20. So this is again equal to 60. So that means the first property what we studied, commutative property, holds true for addition as well as multiplication. Associative property also holds true for addition as well as multiplication. But it doesn't hold true for subtraction. And if you check for division, it won't hold good. Because in division also you won't get the same answer. Right? Okay. So now let's come to the next property, which is also very, very important for you. Not only in solving the numbers exercises, but in future also there are many applications of those properties in the higher classes. Okay. So clear your concepts. Now, the third most important property is the distributive property. Distributive property. And this distributive property is of two types. What is the first type? Distributive property. Okay, let me write again. Distributive property of multiplication over addition. Okay. And the second type is distributive property of multiplication over subtraction. Okay. So this is the property for multiplication over addition and multiplication over subtraction. It's very, very important. Okay, but once you solve the questions using the distributive property, you will see your questions are solved so quickly and it's very easy to solve. Okay, so let me explain you both of them. Let us take the first one. Let me write down. Suppose 2 multiplied to 3 plus 4. Okay, 2 multiplied to 3 plus 4. See, now you must be knowing that even if you don't put the multiplication sign here, it is same as, we can also write it as like this, without the multiplication sign, because by default, if you don't have any sign between these two, it's multiplied. Okay, but now since you're not used to it, so I'm putting a multiplication sign here for your understanding. Clear? Now you see here, this is what distributive, the first example is a distributive property of multiplication over what? Addition, right? So here outside you see there are two numbers inside which are added and one number is outside the bracket, right? So what does it mean? It means that the number which is outside the bracket is multiplied first with this, then it is multiplied with the second number. And these numbers can be 2, 3, 4, anything else. That means here I have two numbers, it can be 3 numbers, 4 numbers, also you can take 5 numbers, whatever. So whatever is there inside the bracket, just understand it. So what does it mean? It means that 2 is first multiplied to 3. 2 is first multiplied to 3. Okay? Then in the center what sign you are having? Plus. So write down that plus. Then 2 is multiplied to 4. Then what? 2 is multiplied to 4. So now 2 multiplied to 3 is how much? 6. 2 multiplied to 4 is how much? 8. So how much answer are you getting? 14. Yes. Let us check it in the other way also. 2 multiplied to 3 plus 4. So first solve the bracket in this case. 3 plus 4 will give me how much? 7. 14. Isn't it? So this is what distributive property of multiplication over addition. You will be solving it. You will be solving some numbers based on your exercise. I will be coming to that. Don't worry. Just now understand the property. For the time being, understand the property. Now let's take the example of distributive property of multiplication over subtraction. Right? So both these properties are for multiplication. One is over addition and the other one is over subtraction. Okay? Or like suppose let us take 5, 3 minus 4. Okay? Simply when you solve it, 3 minus 4. In place of 3, I will be write 4 minus 3. Okay? So now 5 multiplied to 1 will give me how much? 5. Isn't it? So now let us check it the other way around. 5 multiplied to 4 minus 3. Okay? So here what does it mean? What does it mean? The number which is outside. 5 is first multiplied to the first number, 4. But here what is there? No plus sign. Here we have minus. So minus 5 multiplied to the second number. Okay? So how much you are getting here? 20 minus 15. That is equal to how much? 5. Isn't it? Both the answers are correct. Okay? So this property is called as distributive property of multiplication over addition, and this is the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction. I think the 3 properties are quite clear to you. Okay? So it will be more interesting when you are solving the numbers. Okay? Now let us come to the property of 1. Also important and asked to you many times in the exam. Property of 1. So for this we will discuss property of 1. What does it mean? See, property of 1 is only for multiplication. Okay, that means you multiply anything by 1, the answer will be the number itself. Anything by 1, the answer will be the number itself. Okay, so this is called as what? Except 0. Except 0. 0 is the exception, because whatever you multiply with 0, it is 0. So property of 1 is what? This is called as a multiplicative property of 1. What is the meaning of the multiplicative property of 1? It means that if 1 is multiplied to any number, the answer will be the number itself. Okay? Then now let's come to the property of 0. 0 is very, very important, right? Okay, we cannot ignore the 0 property. 0 also has its own property. Okay? So now just take the first example. 5 plus 0. 0 added to any number doesn't make the difference. Yes or no? If anything, if 0 is added to anything, 5 plus 0 is also 5. 0 plus 5 is also 5. So that means if you add 0 to any number, addition. This is for the additive property of 0. See, when I am talking about addition, it's additive property of 0. Okay. So, property of 0, there are many kinds of property of 0. Okay. So, the additive property of 0 states that if 0 is added to any number, okay, it doesn't, the answer is the number itself. The answer is the number itself. Right. Now, what about this is the additive property of 0. Additive property of 0. 0 added to any number doesn't change the number. The number answer is the number itself. Now, what about the subtraction? Let us check it. 5 minus 0 and 0 minus 5. 5 minus 0 will give me 5. But 0 minus 5 will give me how much? Now you know integers, you know it's what? Minus 5. It's not a whole number. Minus 5, is it a whole number? No, it's not a whole number. It cannot be defined here in this case. Yes? So that means additive property of 0 is okay. 0 doesn't affect the number. But in this case, if 0 is subtracted from any number, the answer is the number itself. But if any number is subtracted from 0, the answer is not the number itself. Okay? And about the multiplicative property of 0, you are knowing already. 0 multiplied to anything, even to an elephant is 0. Yes or no? Even to a dinosaur is equal to 0. So, multiplicative property of 0 is what? Multiplicative property of 1 is that if you multiply 1 to any number, the answer is the number itself. Yes or no? But what about the multiplicative property? Anything multiplied to 0 is 0. Yes? Now, what about the division? What about the division? Division by 0 and 0 by something. See, just look at this. Okay, let me write here. See, suppose if I write here 0 divided by 5 and I write 5 divided by 0. Okay. 0 divided by any number. If the 0 is a dividend. If 0 is a dividend, if you are dividing 0 by any number, okay, the answer will be how much? What is the quotient you are getting? 0. What is the quotient you are getting? 0. That means if 0 is divided by any number, then the answer is how much? 0. But any number divided by 0 cannot be defined. You cannot divide. Just check it out. 5 divided by 0. Now, if I try to just find out 5 here, 0 5s are 0 I will get. If anything I am taking here, I will get what? 0. So, this division is not possible. So, that means what? 0 divided by any number is 0. Okay? But any number divided by 0 is not possible. It cannot be defined. I hope the idea is getting clear. Now, in the next class, we will be solving some of the important numbers based on whatever properties we have read today. We have one more property left, for this closure property. Okay, that I will teach you later on. But now for the time being, you should remember the commutative property, the associative property, the distributive property of multiplication over addition, the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction, the property of 1, that is a multiplicative property of 1, and the property of 0. And with the help of all these properties, it becomes very easy to solve the numbers. And I know you all have been writing along with me, and you all will revise, go through it, and in the next class, we'll be solving some questions based on these properties. Till then,